Alright, Ethan here. Alright, so this is my thoughts on Armored Core 6. I have completely beaten the game. I've played through every single mission. I've got every single part. And so far, I think I've got pretty much everything there is to offer other than S ranking every single mission, which I don't think I'm going to do. Realistically speaking, at least not nowhere in the fucking near future. What do I think about Armored Core 6? Well, Armored Core 6 is an Armored Core game. It has that going for it. I'll give it that. It's definitely an Armored Core game. It's not a Dark Souls game or a Sekiro game. It is an Armored Core game, which is good. What I have problems with: the game really pushes the stagger system like no tomorrow. It is a pivotal piece of the gameplay. The stagger system is shoehorned into every single little facet of combat, and I don't like that. I don't like that Sekiro kind of rendition of that. Stagger has always been, getting staggered, AC stability has always been a thing in Armored Core. It is. But not like this. This is a whole fucking other level. And I just think it dominates way too much of the player landscape. I don't know how to say that properly. Like, it dominates way too much of the actual gameplay here. And it's just it definitely does not help with the bosses. I mean, stagger does help with the bosses. What bothers me is that it's, without a doubt, the only reasonable way. They've made the bosses in this game so numerous and so hard that stagger is the only reasonable way to actually really defeat them without, going completely apeshit and losing your goddamn mind. And some of them you still can't really beat reasonably. At least not with any kind of weapon combinations I've been able to come up with. Even my best ones, completely utilizing the stagger function in this game, trying to stun lock my enemies in place with it. Even builds that I've built so far that are completely revolving around that core part of this game that's been put in. Still, certain enemies, they don't get staggered like you do. And they sometimes just don't give a fuck. And they'll just keep shooting you. I don't know what to say about that. Whenever you get staggered, you can't heal, and you cannot move, and of course, and you cannot shoot or do anything but stand there and get punched in the face. The enemies can still shoot you, and some of them can still move. I don't know how else to say that. Sometimes the stagger system, it just doesn't seem to really work completely as intended. I've noticed that quite a lot. It doesn't fully function as intended sometimes. And sometimes whenever you think you've staggered the enemy, they'll just keep flying around. Like there's nothing wrong. I've noticed that, and it's very frustrating. The other thing is, bosses in Armored Core were a thing that did happen. They do exist, and there are quite a few of them. However, not like this. I don't know who the hell was put in charge of the bosses for the later half of this game, but someone has done something fucking wrong. Okay, I don't know why so many people are bitching about the helicopter at the beginning, but Baltius is way too fucking hard of a beginner boss. That's a mid-game boss. At the minimum, that is a mid-game boss. You do not have the... Okay. Coming back and fighting Baltius with better equipment and weapons makes the fight much easier. But starting off, I can see so many people getting stuck on that like I did for hours just because they don't have... Because their ACs, no matter what they do, they can't build a good enough AC to be on anywhere near an even playing field with it. The thing is basically a fucking Next with an ultimate weapon strapped onto it. Armored Core terms, for anyone who knows what I'm talking about. And it's just like, I don't know how that's fair. It's not supposed to be fair. But for beginners in the series, that's going to push people away. I'm not saying make the game easy, but the bosses should not be that fucking hard. That's ridiculous. It's unreasonable. And with the fucking coral bosses, some of them, like on my last playthrough, on the third playthrough, that guy was laughable. He was not that hard to beat, especially with my stun lock build. It was not hard to beat at all. But there's some enemies in the game, such as on the mission reach the coral convergence, that one with the fucking Ibis unit that shows up. That motherfucker, sometimes, that's an example, sometimes you can stun lock him and that bar fills up, but it doesn't do nothing. The guy just keeps moving around and keeps shooting you. Same thing with fucking Baltius. They just keep moving around. They keep shooting you. They don't care sometimes. While, the moment your shit gets whacked, you're screwed. And I'm not trying to say that boss battles are bad and that, they shouldn't be in Armored Core. Hell yeah, they should be in Armored Core. But they shouldn't be implemented like this. This is fucking way too extreme. Way, 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 way too extreme. Boss battles need to be implemented like they were in Armored Core 3. And I think Armored Core 4 Answer really did it pretty good, in my opinion. Verdict Day also has some pretty good boss battles, but those are for like PvP online. Well, not really PvP, but it's more like co-op online, where you can work together with a team of dudes on your squad and go and tackle different enemies. Like, that's really cool. But in this game, not only is co-op not a thing, which is massively disappointing, but it's PvP only, and you have to go into a specific mode for that. PvP is cool, but it's really not my thing. I liked, co-op. I liked working with people to destroy targets and do missions. I enjoyed that. And the last fucking 3 Armored Core games, I think, had that. And this one doesn't. It's a massive disappointment. It's truly a massive disappointment to me that there's no co-op. I'm sure some genius modder, since it's on PC, thank God it's on PC for once. It's the first Armored Core game on PC. People are going to probably mod the hell out of this game. I already saw a CJ texture replacer mod. That was hilarious. But anyways, getting off topic. The main issues I have in this game with the bosses is that they are way too difficult and way too numerous. It is obscene how difficult some of these bosses are whenever you're going through your first playthrough of the game, because of your super limited part selection that you have access to, and you can't do nothing about that. You're just kind of stuck with what you have, and you have to make it work. You can always go and sell your parts and go buy new stuff, but it's a very small category. If you haven't done very well in this game with your money, you're pretty much screwed. With it, where it comes to your first playthrough, you're screwed if you haven't done good with your money, because you're not going to be able to buy better equipment, more and better equipment to experiment around. And I can see some people just getting stuck on Baltius and just throwing in the towel and fucking walking away. I fucking nearly did once. I sat there and I fucking fought that guy for like a fucking solid 4 hours. I had to fight that fucking dude. Maybe I just suck, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But I think I'm a pretty good, example of what the hell people can do. And I love Armored Core. Armored Core is like my main video game series I grew up playing, and it's pretty much the only video game series I've kept playing. Everything else has loot boxes and pay-to-win bullshit in it, and I'm just not about that. But yeah, I don't really understand why the bosses had to be so fucking difficult. It's mind-bogglingly infuriating to me that there are so many bosses in this game, and that they occur so early on in the game, and they're so fucking hard. This is ridiculous. That there's no reason or rhyme or reason for it to be like that. Someone made a decision over there, and let me just say this, I'm not pleased with it. This displeases me immensely as someone who loves Armored Core, because it's going to push people away. It already kind of has. I can already see a lot of different backlashes and people bitching and moaning about it, including myself. I'm kind of in that crowd. The bosses are way too hard in this game. It's fucking no. There's no reason for them to be that hard that early on. Someone made a really poor choice there. And I know people are going to say, oh, get good. Yeah, but I used to play Armored Core for fun, not to have an intense grinding experience. I used to just be able to boot up Armored Core 4, Armored Core 3, any of the titles, even Armored Core 5, and just play the game and enjoy it and not have to treat it, like I'm fighting for my fucking life here. And while it can be exhilarating, I just sometimes want to play the game. And there are plenty of missions that are like that. But again, I can't get past that. That's such a huge fucking issue for me. That's not cool. Numero uno problem, major problem that I have is that this game takes a way more anime-esque approach to all of this, and I'm not really on board with it that much. It's cool, you know, they have the fucking Final Fantasy live stream kind of shit going on here with the choral. That's cool and all, but I don't fucking like the story. I'm not gonna lie. It's not that I don't like the environment and the story that the story built, you know, that it takes place around. The environment in this game is beautiful, it is amazing, and it is well crafted. You know, it really sucks you in. You know, it's like, oh yeah, this is great, you know. I'm on board with that. I love the environment in this game. I don't like the story in this game. I think the whole entire thing with Error is kind of not really that Armored Core-esque in my opinion. It's not that cool. I don't like it. I really don't like how they're kind of trying to shoehorn into you being the good guy, you know, saving the world. They call you a destroyer and a monster, you know, if you go the path of helping Walter finish his mission. And then they call you a savior on the other two paths, basically. And I get it, you know, on Armored Core 4 Answer, in the last, in one mission, in one ending, you are definitely a monster. But the other two endings, you could be arguably saving people's lives. Well, yeah, pretty much. In one ending of Armored Core 4 Answer, you're saving humanity at a great sacrifice. And at the other ending, you're saving humanity, but ultimately, well, not saving humanity. You're saving all the people, all the innocent people, but ultimately condemning humanity to slowly die out on the planet because of all the radiation generators. Lore nonsense. If you're here, you're probably Armored Core veteran. I'm not fucking, you know, sugarcoating it. Spoilers, whatever. But the other gripe I have is like I said, the stagger system and the gameplay. It feels very weird. I feel that it's trying so fucking hard to be an Armored Core game, and I can, you know, feel it. I can kind of feel it, you know, and it's got that, you know, the base of it is definitely an Armored Core game, but it has all these shoehorned elements in there with the stagger system and the way the game wants you to play it. It tries really hard to force you onto the ground. No matter what kind of build you build, permanent flight capable ACs in this game are really fucking finicky. And I still haven't quite built one completely successfully without abusing the generator recovery and the overboost mechanic in this game. And generator recovery is basically the only way I can really build a permanent flight capable AC in this game, because the generators, they've made it to where the game is trying to force you onto the ground. They don't want you to be flying around. In the older games, you could work around that. You know, if you looked at the stats, you know, and you had booster parts and various hover parts, extensions and shit like that you could use and build around in order to build yourself an AC unit that could fly around really well. In this game, no matter what the hell you do, your AC units do not actually fly very well. Like, I've tried, and they don't fly very well at all. And you could say it's more of like that's more of like a late third generation kind of thing. Yeah, I could, all right. For those who played the Armored Core 3 games, sure. But in those games, the energy bar would fucking recharge at the same rate, regardless of whether or not you were on the ground or not. In Armored Core 4 Answer, the bar would recharge slower while you're in the air, but only if you were boosting around. And which in that game was near fucking constantly. But and in that game, you could really tweak your build for energy efficiency and your thrusters, and you could just fucking fly around without having a care in the world anyway, at like maximum booster output if you built it right. In this game, they've made it to where it forces you onto the ground constantly, and the generator purposefully regenerates slowly in the air, and I really hate that. And no matter how much I try to build around it, it's still a thing, and I'm just like, that's bullshit. There's no fucking... That's crap. That's complete bullshit. That's a gameplay thing that they've tried to do, and I don't appreciate that at all. There's definitely some Dark Souls and Sekiro-like elements in this game that I've pointed out that I'm not on board with, and that personally have ruined the experiment that is this game for me. I want to like this game so hard. I really want to like this game. It's got beautiful designs. The mech designs, the Armored Core designs in this game are really cool. I really love the detail of all of it. I love the world. You know, I don't really like the story, but I like the atmosphere that the story's built. It sucks you in. It's really good. It's really atmospheric. You know, it's really cool. But this game feels like it was designed by two entirely different fucking people that had two entirely different views on how this game should feel and play. And I think that's because it was. I think that this game was initially going to be like a pure Armored Core game without that Sekiro staggering crap and Dark Souls obscene hard bosses just for the sake of being hard. I think it was initially going to be like that, and then they were like, oh no, we have this massive fan base. We need to appeal to them and hopefully generate new players on, you know, converting them over, which I think is good. I see the value in that. But as a veteran player who waited over 10 fucking years, I waited over 10 years for this game to come out. This game has left a sour taste in my mouth. And I really want to like it. As someone who played this game, I played through every single mission in this game, got every single part, and has tried really desperately to like this game. I just don't like it that much. Is it still a good game? Yes. I think that this is a good game. I think that most people will like this game. You bet. Is it for me and other Armored Core vets? No, I don't think so. Not really. Unless you like playing Dark Souls. If you like playing Dark Souls and Sekiro and shit like that, you'll probably like playing this game. If you actually sit down and give it a try. I think that you'll actually like this game. As for me and other Armored Core veterans, I can't speak too much for them. I know this game is getting positive, feedback on all the old Armored Core vets for the most part, because, it's an Armored Core game and it's been over 10 fucking years. But while I am happy about that and I am going to still try and play it, here's my gripes. No holds barred. Here's what I have issues with. And I don't really see any way around these problems for me personally, because the game's built around them. The game's built around these pivotal design choices, and some of them just kind of ruin the game play for me, and I don't enjoy it too much. It is interesting, it can be fun, and it's definitely an Armored Core game. It has pretty good soundtracks. It's got pretty good OSTs in here for the bosses. Baltius is a really good soundtrack, and Giant Killing for the big ol' fucking land ship that shows up, mining land ship that shows up. That's really cool. But, for the most part, it's not really what I was hoping for. I was hoping for more soundtracks from Frequency. I really like their soundtracks. They're amazing. And this game's kind of lacking in that area. Most of the soundtracks, while they're not bad, they're not banging either. And I don't know, the older games just had, for the most part, they just had straight fucking good music for the most part. Most of the music in the old games was just good. I don't know why, what happened there, beats me. But for the most part, most of the songs in this game are just kind of, they're alright, they're not bad. They fit the levels they're in, I guess. But they're not bangers. There's only like a few songs in here which are pretty good. And in my opinion, the older games had like just plethoras of good songs in them. Yeah, here's my issues. I'm by no means speaking for everybody, but I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for a good number of people, at the minimum. So, I think that this game, I think that you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell the first half of this game was designed to, by somebody who's trying to appeal to the older Armored Core fans, the baseline of it, the first, few missions of it. And then they kind of changed gears, and then they were like, all right, we need to appeal to the Dark Souls people more. And then they kind of just mixed the Dark Souls blood into the Armored Core blood, and now we got something that's really diluted with that. And a lot of people are saying that, this is just it evolving, it needs to evolve to appeal to modern gamers and blah blah. Have you seen Ace Combat 7? They just sold 1 million they just recently broke a milestone and sold more copies than ever, or some shit, on Steam. And it's basically the same damn formula there. They have very little changed that. In fact, Ace Combat 7 has gotten slightly worse in its storytelling abilities, and it's still fucking amazing. Here, this is a direction for Armored Core that I don't want it to keep going in. It needs to revert back just a little bit. They were so close. This game was really close, but it has those core fucking mechanics that I do not like, that I am against. I think that they could still keep the boss battles in this game, but they need to fucking make them... the stagger system needs to go away. I think they could have made a really fun game without the stagger system. And I think that it could have been much more than what it is now, in my frank opinion. My frankly unimportant opinion, by the way. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me. And you know what? I don't care. This is my views on it all. And this is what I think about all of it. I understand the importance of trying to generate more players and trying to attract, their current player base. But for all the people who played the old games and waited over 10 years, this just feels like a wet slap in the face. I don't want any Sekiro or Dark Souls in my Armored Core, and here we are with Dark Souls-like influences dominating the core playing core feature of this game. And it just disappoints me. It's like cherry Dr. Pepper or cherry Coke. It's delicious still. It's good still. But I like the originals. I prefer the originals. It's not bad, but it's not what I wanted. It's not what I expected or what I wanted. And that's all I have to say on it. Really, I feel kind of let down. And I really tried to like this game. I really try to like this game, but it massively disappoints me that I was fucking right. That this game has a lot of Dark Souls blood in it. And while I understand why, I still don't like it.